Former Trump administration national security advisor and former Fox News contributor John Bolton is expected to plead guilty to retaining classified information while preparing a memoir. He could accept a plea deal where he would be fined $2.25 million but avoid jail time. Let's bring in Fox News contributor, George Washington University law professor Jonathan Turley. Jonathan, you were a critic of the Comey indictment on 8647, but you're not a critic of this.
That's right, Brian. This is not the Comey indictment. If arrogance was in the criminal code, he'd be looking at life. I mean, this is after the Hillary Clinton debacle, and we're talking about 1,000 pages or so of classified documents, some top secret, conversations where he comes off almost like a teenage chat room talking about this material. It was incredibly reckless. And I said 6 years ago, when he was able to get a court to greenlight the release of his book, that he may rue the day that he succeeded. Because by publishing that book, after being confronted by intelligence officials about his possession and reference to classified material, he may have sealed his fate in all of this. So this is a very strong indictment brought by career people, and I can see why he pleaded guilty.
Do you think he knew ahead of time? Did he already plead behind the scenes and say something to the effect of no jail if I plead guilty, saves you time and saves you money? Like, is the deal cut already, in other words?
Yeah, I mean, look, he could get the benefit of a significant bargain here in that, he's a first offender. He served this country in various respects. All of that works to his advantage. He pleaded guilty. He'll pay the fine. So a court may, in fact, let him walk without it. There's a cap at 5 years. He was looking at 10 years. But there is a chance that he could walk without jail time.
Here is John Bolton talking about Donald Trump mishandling information. Watch.
I don't think he cared about the classification system. I don't think he appreciated the sensitivity of this information. He liked cool things. He saw things so he wanted to take them, and he was pretty much able to take them, and not just on classified information matters, on all kinds of things that crossed his desk. Some days he liked to eat a lot of French fries. Some days he took classified documents.
Okay. That's blowing up in his face. But it does bother me that Hillary Clinton got away with it, that hammered her, hammered up, just ignored everybody when he said, give me your server. But let's move on. I want to talk about what's happening in California. I am stunned. I heard it was going to happen, but now that it's happening, I can't get over it. They're going to have a few more weeks to be counting votes. As long as you get a ballot in and it's postmarked Tuesday, they're going to be counting for 2 more weeks. And as we put up the boards of where the race for mayor and governor is, this is stunning to me.
No, you're right, Brian. It's sort of like the high-speed train. Those of us outside of California watching this train, which is now has a budget larger than Amtrak and hasn't been built, would say, why aren't you outraged? But it's the politics of low expectations. I always joke that my successful marriage is I reduced my wife's expectations so low I exceed them. They apparently turned that into a political movement, that California voters now don't seem to have any expectation that their leaders will resolve elections within a relatively short time. Florida can give you the results within a day. California takes 2 weeks, and California just sort of shrug. They seem to think that this is normal, that this is all you can expect from your government.
But if you watch, let's say, Rahman close and overtake Spencer Pratt, or you watch you watch Steve Hilton drop to third, it's going to be outrage across the country. I don't understand how this works for California, because it's a blue state. Don't they want the right person to win when everybody gets a ballot and everyone mails it in and nobody's got to have ID?
No, that's the really tragic aspect of this. All these people that say they're democracy defenders, they undermine the integrity of the system. They undermine the faith in the system with these types of systems. And, this is really the product of the pandemic, but they haven't changed it. And they have this dysfunctional system. But there is no accountability because there doesn't seem to be any expectation from California voters that they deserve anything better.
And we'd have the same thing in the general in November. So it's disturbing. Thanks so much, Jonathan Turley. Always great.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.